at. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I gotta get this on camera. No. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino, and I'm very excited to have my guest today. First up is Richard Elfman. He is a filmmaker, performer, and mastermind behind the cult classic Forbidden Zone, as well as the original founder of the musical theatrical troupe that evolved into none other than Oingo Boingo. Richard is a legend of underground cinema and storytelling. Joining him is the equally talented Anastasia Elfman. She's an actress, musician, burlesque performer, and star of the gothic horror spectacle Bloody Bridget, which I enjoyed immensely. Together, they'll be appearing at the second annual Happy Fright Film Festival, happening October 17th through the 19th at the historic Fillmore Town Theatre in Fillmore, California. But Richard and Anastasia, thank you so much for being with me today.
Hey, you're in Austin, right?
Yes, I am. I'm in Austin. Yep.
We're big fans of Austin. Super cool city.
It is. It's definitely an art city. It's big for film. I don't know if y'all have ever come for South by Southwest, but that's a huge thing every year for filmmakers and artists from all backgrounds. But yeah, Austin's great. And speaking of artists, both of you do so many different things. You're going to be attending this second annual Happy Fright Film Festival. Can you tell me about what you'll be actually doing? I know you're going to be screening Bloody Bridget, and then Richard, you'll be there as well with Forbidden Zone. Can you guys kind of give me summing up what you'll be doing there?
Well, along with the films, we're not doing much. I'll be coming with a crashing percussion ensemble and maybe some local musicians, and Bloody Burlesque that Anastasia does. She's going to rip someone's heart out in front of the audience, so not much.
I'm excited by that. And Anastasia, Bloody Bridget it was so amazing. I know you, Richard, you were involved in the writing and directing, obviously. That was such a fun film to watch because I love indie, but I also love like tongue-in-cheek humor, and the comedic timing was great. Can you all tell me how this idea came to fruition and, you know, how it finally kind of came to the screen?
Well, in a nutshell, Anastasia's a dancer, a cellist, a performer, burlesque artist. So I was very much inspired by her, and also a true story that it's based on. I'm an Afro-Latin percussionist, and when you really get into the music, you get into the culture, which takes you to Africa. And call it like cultural appropriation. If you go to Jamaica, they kind of worship Haile Selassie, the former emperor of Ethiopia. His name Tafari, and Ross means king, hence Rastafarian. Well, there's a similar thing in Haiti where Baron Samedi, the voodoo male guy, top hat, cigar, rum, women, his wife, and if you go to Haiti right now to a voodoo ceremony, is a red-haired Irish woman named Bridget, who's Saint Bridget of Ireland, who they believe, based on a Celtic goddess Bridget. Well, anyway, in real life, Sam and I hadn't seen Bridget in 90 years, and he's getting drunk at a burlesque dive in Van Nuys, and there's a red-haired Irish burlesque dancer who he mistakes for his wife, and he turns her into a Valentine vampire. What is that?
Blood only whets my appetite. I must eat their beating hearts.
Yeah, so there we go, but it's based on a true story.
I love it. Bridget, eating the hearts out of all the scuzzy men. Perfect.
And women.
how did you enjoy making that film? And for you, what was it like, being involved in this kind of a picture, and being able to showcase all of your talents, from the burlesque dancing to playing to acting? What was it like for you?
For me, oh man, it was a lot. I was in every scene basically. It's a self-financed film, so I was keeping an eye on the clock as well. But it was a really wonderful, happy, joyful set with Rick at the helm. And so we shot very quick, and it was very bloody, which is my favorite because I love horror. I'm a huge monster kid and horror fan just in general, and those are kind of my favorite parts, is getting all bloody and gross and then like ripping out hearts left and right. Don't threaten me with a fun time.
And something you might appreciate in Austin is I barbecue at the end of every week for the cast and crew.
Oh, yes, Texas is big for barbecue. Yes, it is. Um, that is awesome. I could tell that y'all just had a fun time on the set. I mean, from beginning to end, even the credits at the end, having the dancing and everybody on stage, and Richard, you were in the film as well. You were the devil, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, yeah. It's a little note to young filmmakers is when you're made up as the devil, you command a little more respect from the cast and crew.
Anastasia, is that right?
A little bit. Yeah, with them. That's how I see him all the time. So no big thing for me. But it was kind of funny because, okay, so imagine like Rick and I, we come into set, but like around the time crew and before the cast arrive, and then we're leaving at the end of the day after cast and with the crew. And so I'm a redhead through this whole film, like various versions of my like red hair. And naturally, I'm a blonde. And so at the cast, at the end party, nobody recognized me because I came to the party just as myself, not as Bloody Bridget. So nobody knew it was me. So I had to like reintroduce myself to everybody.
And speaking of, just having a great time and everything that was in this film, I saw at the very end it said Bloody Bridget 2 coming soon. So where are we with that? Or is there much you can really say about it at this point?
Okay, so you remember in Bloody Bridget 1, she had her two lawyers, Daniel Dershowitz and Daniel Dershowitz Jr., both little people with yarmulkes from Brooklyn, Jewish lawyers. And it was the devil and Daniel Dershowitz. They took on the devil. Well, anyway, in Bloody Bridget 2, they have to go to Ireland and infiltrate the leprechauns to get something to battle the devil. But Dad, they'll see the yarmulkes under. Put the hat on. So
Have y'all started filming yet?
no, not later this year. And we're also working on Forbidden Zone 2. Also, Anna's starting her own show, Bloody Bridget's Horror Show, where she'll screen a film. And it's a little bit like Elvira, except smarter, sexier, and funnier.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's kind of like we need, a new horror hostess. So using my Bloody Bridget character, and then using kind of my love for film and horror, and talking about my favorite horror films, the classics, and then also talking about new horror, and interviewing different directors, writers, crew, from behind the scenes, like the VFX artists and stuff. And then maybe they lose a heart in the middle of it. So it's just going to be fun. It's kind of like a mix of like what Rick said, Elvira, a little bit of the Crypt Keeper kind of vibes, and then a little bit of Pee-wee's Playhouse, because I'm really silly and I love kind of that playfulness that he had.
Oh my gosh, I loved watching Pee-wee's Playhouse. If it has anything like that vibe, I am going to be in love with it. When are you planning to unveil that show to everybody?
It's in development right now, so stay tuned. RichardElfman.com, BloodyBridget.com, and then coming up, AnastasiaElfman.com, which will be up soon.
not like me to feel this way. It's not like me to feel this way. Compensation. Compensation. Living a lie gets so easy to take because time has no friends, no beginning, no end. Perpendicular anomalies crowd my space inside my energies. Take my weapon before I forget. I'll do something that we both do. It's not like me to. It's not like me to feel this way. Feel this way. It's not like me to. It's not like me to feel this way. Feel this way. It's not like me to feel this. Feel this. Feel this. Feel this. Feel.
So you two work together a lot, and husband, wife, what's it like, you know, working together on these projects, being on set together? You both are creatives. You both have so many talents. You know, for you, is that just like a natural progression from, you know, your relationship to on set, or how does that work for you guys?
Well, when I met Anastasia, her day job was in a practical special effects house, and nights was studying method acting with Stella Adler. By the way, she was one of the few people to actually get a scholarship there. 2 years, very serious method actress. Although she's about to star in her 12th Scream Queen role, where you don't see so much method as just blood and knives and stuff like that. But anyway, also we have fun every day. We have a lot of our daughter's artistic, going to studying animation. So we have a fun household, and I knock on wood, we don't really fight. So, you know, particularly over creative stuff, you know, our visions overlap each other. So along with respect, there's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's like if I've got a gig that I'm working on, like let's say we have to go shoot somewhere else, I take the family along with me, you know, and they're hanging out, and our daughter gets to see like, oh, mom kick ass on set, you know, like lighting the bad guy on fire and kicking him into the pool or something, you know.
So she's been doing a couple features out in Las Vegas. We're
Yeah.
staying at the conservative Bellagio Hotel, and at like 3 a.m, they bring her back dripping with blood, and I have to rush her up to the room with people staring in the lobby and stuff like that.
So just like normal, typical Tuesdays, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're very supportive of each other's art, and we respect, you know, the projects that we have going on and support each other. So that's the great thing about us, you know, like we end up working on or supporting each other's projects. So it's great.
And Richard, you mentioned Forbidden Zone 2. I mean, that's one of those films. It's so original, and I don't think there's been anything like it to come out since it, you know, it came out in the late 70s there, early 80s rather, but was shot in the late 70s. It's so trippy, but so cool and just different and creative. And, you know, I love that you took a lot of risks probably at the time with that film.
And we take risks. We take risks with every film, my friend. This last one was like we had enough of like the lawyers and the meetings and the companies, and we just, if I can use a 4-letter word, fuck it, let's just shoot it. We didn't even have a budget, you know, up the mortgage, max the credit cards. We just did it, you know. But they're all a risk. You bet the farm, and you know we'll do it again.
Well, and also, you know, you're musical, both of you are musical, and I like how you add music into the films that you do.
How do you like her cello playing?
Awesome. Yes. Well, I had read about you, and I was reading that you're a classically trained cellist, and then I saw you playing in the film at the end, and I'm like, wow. I mean, that's amazing. I used to play viola when I was in middle school, high school.
Oh, okay.
I haven't touched it in years, but that's a lot of discipline to play an instrument, especially an orchestra or band, whatever. But I love cello because of the rich sound. I like playing viola because it, like violins have that E string and it's real high pitched, but I liked viola because of the more rich, you know, A string.
The
But
rich tone, yeah.
Yeah, cello is just like that. It's beautiful. So I thought it was excellent, and I'm looking forward to part 2, and also Forbidden Zone part 2. So where are we with that, and what can you tell our
Well,
viewers?
I mean, it's written. We've had music composed. I've had art done. We've come close a few times, but didn't quite get there. It's just the way Hollywood's made. Uh, kind of the same formula as Forbidden Zone 1 is I've got original music by my brother Danny and Ego Plum, our bandmate. But also we have like 8 tunes that are incredible classics that I just want to share with the universe. But those cost a fortune right now, so we just have to raise a little bit more. But that's kind of my bucket list film. But it's ready to go. It's you know, stay tuned, everybody, for Forbidden Zone 2 is all I can say.
And this is also a self-financed, right?
Well, no, it's more than we can do on our own with everything, you know. So we've had film companies a couple times, and this happens in Hollywood all the time. For like every 3 films made, there's another 2 that are like strung along, and then the company has a problem, and then the filmmaker gets his phone calls returned slower and slower. So it's not like a no, but a year goes by, and all you have at the end is a big legal bill. You know, so that's happened a couple times, but you know, I'm not complaining. That's the way of the world. Nothing's easy.
How do you both feel about just where we are with the film industry in terms of, over the past probably 5 to 10 years, it feels like, with A24 and Neon and some of these different more independent companies, you're seeing these films come out that are not the cookie cutter. They're not the romantic comedy or even the cookie cutter horror movies. You're seeing more of like these films that are taking risks. They're a little different. Some of them are really out there, but they're finding success. Like Everything Everywhere at All at Once is one of the ones that I think about. But for you all, how do you feel like that helps at all, or how do you view and Richard, you've been in the filmmaking industry for a long time, and Anastasia, you've been making films as well for a while. So how do you see the film industry right now, especially being there in California?
I don't know. It's always crazy. We've got a really good team right now putting projects together. So knock on wood. Uh, you know, we should get some things going. We also have other features in development. And I've had a gig developing a comedy horror animation series. So watch for some of those this next year.
And horror is really I think horror has always had a place, but I feel like it's really, again, it comes in waves, right? It feels like you have a burst of horror movies that come out, then it kind of goes out of style again, then it comes back. And we've seen that again, that it's come back with some of these different types of films. I know that you do a lot of independent films, but something, for instance, like Bloody Bridget, I feel like that is the type of film that has the kind of cult, that can get the cult following, already has it, that can build up over the years. So for you, is the end goal really just getting it out there, as opposed to, because everybody approaches it different? I mean, of course you want people to see your art, but I think with commercial films, there's such a that's why I like indie, because I feel like you can take these different risks and different chances, and it isn't going to be something that you always see. However, the payoff can take longer. So what is your thought on that?
Well, in a nutshell, because we self-financed Bloody Bridget, we're under no pressure to like have to release it. And we had a lot of offers, but they were shitty offers. So our team right now, along with developing Anastasia's show, Bloody Bridget's Horror Chat, will release the film along with her show debut. So that'll all be coming together with her crazy red wig on.
Just outside of film, like, what are what other projects are you taking part in? What's a day in the life of Richard and Anastasia? I know I saw every week that y'all do you have something, I was looking at your social media, where you have like a gathering and y'all do some, like, I don't know if cooking's involved, but some hosting and that type of thing. But what is a day in the life of y'all?
Okay, it's kind of schizoid. It's along with a couple wild events every month. we're very much a family people. Like we didn't even mind COVID so much because we're at home working, with the wife and daughter. Now we have a cat. So we're very much homebodies, writing crazy horror stuff.
Yeah, we have such a loving like home environment. It's hard to get us to go out. And the thing is, like, like the horror community is so small. It's like I always want to go out and support our friends, like when they have screenings or events, or we're getting really into the animation world. Our daughter wants to be an animator, and a lot of the leading animators in cartoon land are all like huge fans of Rick. So they've been reaching out and having us go to studio tours, just like really in like inviting us into their world, which we love. And so I don't know, it's like it's hard for us to get out, but we do love visiting with friends. And the great thing about us is, like, yes, we do a lot of hosting, so we get to be at home too and invite people into our like silly world.
Yeah, we do a big event called the Barbecue Bacchanals. We're up in the Hollywood Hills under the Hollywood sign, and we can jam maybe 80 or 90 people shoulder to shoulder on the 3 floors. I'll barbecue, and then Anna performs this dark, bloody burlesque with her partner Morgan Sorn. But this is like very dark. It's hard. It's not at all Dita Von Teese.
How did you get into burlesque dancing, Anastasia? And did you always love dancing from, when you were very young, or how did that all start for you?
For me, I grew up in the theater. I've been doing ballet. I'm classically trained since age 3. So performance has always been in my back pocket and just a part of my daily life, I would say. From like choreographing new numbers or rehearsing old ones. I also have a big history, like experience of, costuming and effects, makeup, and coming up with riggings. Like I do all of my own stuff for my numbers. So like if there's like I need to get intestines out of a victim or a heart, like I pack them on the victims myself. It's really fun. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of naturally went that way. We've been touring with Forbidden Zone for years and years, and I love kind of like a vaudeville type of immersive experience. So we've collaborated and created these wonderful, like I like to call them the Elfman pre-show events. And so it just like, I don't know, when there's projects, I come up with new numbers,
I've got to tell you, the other side of here's this comely young blonde, like so gentle and sweet. Her parents are both ex-Marines. She had to go to young Marine camp every weekend growing up her entire life. So she has an amazing, not just a discipline, but kind of a stoicness. She doesn't complain. One of the hacks I did, like Bloody Bridget was the fastest I'd ever shot, but we didn't have a fortune. So to save a week shooting, normally like every kill, I'd have to bring the whole special effects department and all the things and rigmarole to 6 different locations. So instead we shot them all back to back against a green screen and then brought props on and used fantasy backgrounds, which worked with the film. But basically she's taped up with like Gorilla Tape with tubes. And then she has to like her nails are breaking, like ripping the chest open, then getting the heart out and like pretending to eat it and not gagging. And then basically like cut, wash her up, next, action for 14 hours, but no complaints. No complaints.
I love when it switches to Bridget in the film and the hair is all up and it's like the background, like you said, using the green screen. It's so good. And, hearing that and reading also, Anastasia, that you did have parents that were Marines, and I imagine thinking about that, how disciplined that must have been. But
believe me, the clothes in my drawer are folded neatly.
He loves to say that. Yeah, no, I like to keep things organized. And yeah, it also comes from my strict ballet, and then the theater, it's like the show must go on. There's no choice. You have to do it. And so, yeah, that's really helped me in the indie film world, because, you know, you're lucky if you get a rehearsal. You're lucky if you get to talk to your, you know, scene partners beforehand. And you just have to come totally prepared and professional. So that, yeah, that really helped me go through, because while I really love getting bloody and I love playing these like demonic characters and monsters and ghosts and different things like that, you know, in the moment, sometimes it's not fun being, you know, like sticky and having your hair stuck, or you're like, you know, piercing your own gums with your fangs. But then it's like also a pinch me moment, because this is exactly what I've wanted to do my entire life. I've always played pretend. I was that weirdo kid that would like, I'm an older sister, so I would loop in my little sister to like do my visions and play pretend and put on shows for the family. So this is like, you know, like there's no complaining with me, because I love what I do and I love playing pretend, you know, with these films.
Well, those of us who love horror movies and love kind of the different and, you know, not, or the surreal or avant-garde, whatever you want to call it, I love all of it. I don't think sometimes when people see horror, especially, that they always take it seriously. I do. Like, I even love the 80s slasher flicks. That's my favorite. And I don't care how inexpensive it looks, how, you know, whatever. There's something about those films that are endearing to me, and they have a different message beyond the killer chasing someone around. For you being in, especially, you know, this film, the Bloody Bridget part 1 and now going into part 2, for me, what I saw in that, what I've always related to, and I've talked about this before on my show with the final girl and sort of that strong character, is that, you know, when I was a kid, I think we all deal with stuff. You know, I got bullied and made fun of because being gay, all that kind of stuff. I think those of us that really zero into these types of films and horror, it's because, and the difference, because we felt like outsiders. And so when I watch these types of films, whether it's yours, Richard, or yours, Anastasia, there's a connection, because it feels like, oh, that makes sense to me. Being a part of it for both of you, and I'll start with you, Anastasia, how does it feel being able to be in that empowering role that kind of doesn't take shit from anybody, but it also serves, I think, for me, like as an inspiration, especially to young people, male or female? You know, do you take that like as a responsibility as well, or even think about it?
Yeah, I mean, so kind of you to say yes. I feel like with Bloody Bridget, with that character, I kind of play two roles, right? She is kind of like the quintessential like final girl kind of victim in the beginning, but then she flips it on, you know, her own head.
They
And
call
turns,
that character development.
yeah,
You young filmmakers.
she turns into this sword of justice. And as an older sister, I'm very protective of the people that I love, you know, my friends, family, everyone, so protective. And I use that with the demon Bloody Bridget character to just protect everyone, you know. And so yes, I love that the audience who have seen Bloody Bridget totally connects, and you know, they're talking about like dressing up as her on Halloween, which is, you know, we've got to find some finessing way of doing that safely, walking around. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point. I mean, I would say for me, I always felt like an outsider. I always sided with the creatures, with the monsters, not always with the bad guys. But Bloody Bridget, she's a good bad guy.
Okay,
you know?
okay, outsider, if you're familiar with Los Angeles, I was born on 103rd Street in Deep Watts, and then we moved to Boys in the Hood, Crenshaw, where I went to school.
Okay. So yeah, you definitely didn't probably fit into that.
Well, yes and no. I was bullied mercilessly until I discovered that I had a skill. Some kids could put a ball through the hoop. Others could knock a ball out of the park. If I hit a guy on the chin, he'd fall down. And I was actually on and off for 25 years, a sparring partner in a pro stable. Wow. Where I mean, the coach. Okay, like I'm getting out of the ring. I broke my thumb. Let me get my violin. Get back in the ring, pussy. That was kind of I've had my nose fixed twice, but I'm not violent. I'm not violent. But I wasn't bullied from age 15 on.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I needed you with
Yeah.
me like in middle school. um,
Well, I have to watch out for my little brother he's got balls, but he's never been in a fight.
oh, there you go.
I
Yeah.
had it like this out of high school, comes to Europe. He's in my French theater company for summer, playing our first music. Then he goes to Africa for a year. He's only 18, working his way from the West Coast to the East Coast, no money. No, he's serious huevos, to pull something like that off.
When you're out doing these tours, whether it's with Forbidden Zone or Bloody Bridget or other films that you're both involved in, what is the interaction like with the audience? And does it ever surprise you the kind of things that people come up to you and say that they've taken away from the films that you're both in?
Generally, if festivals, because we've been doing the festival circuit with Bloody Bridget and sometimes doing like Forbidden Zone as well, as like a double feature experience. But so with Bloody Bridget, it's been wonderful, a really wonderful experience. The horror fans get it, like this is everything you want, like a zany, blood-filled horror, like vampire movie. Yeah, this checks all the boxes.
Lastly, what would you like to say to the viewers out there just about your work, where they can find you, and what else you'll be doing?
Fans could follow us we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So Richard Elfman, Anastasia Elfman, and then our films all have their own pages on Facebook and Instagram. So Bloody Bridget film, Aliens, Clowns, and Geeks, which is his kind of like a goofy sci-fi comedy, and then Forbidden Zone.
And for anybody in Southern California, get on out to Fillmore, October 17th, 18th, 19th, to the Happy Frights Film Festival. And Richard and Anastasia Elfman will be live performing October 18th with our films Forbidden Zone and Bloody Bridget. I'll be there with a wild percussive music thing. Anna will be doing one of her bloody burlesque things and actually kill someone in the audience. Very bloody, very sexy. Actually, it might be too bloody and sexy for some of you. So, yeah, we'll see.